Hi guys, it's Diane from Art of Craft. It's been a while since I've been with you. I've been very busy since I last was online. I've been setting up a physical shop as well as my online store as well as running classes. But that's all organised now, so I'm back doing tutorials online and I hope you enjoy them. I'm changing it up a little bit this time. I've got some gifts to make for Christmas, so I've decided to show you what I'm doing, and I'm using boxes. I will be doing some other videos showing you how to use the Graphic 45 boxes and configuration boxes later on, but this is just to give you a few ideas of how I create a box. I don't like measuring, so you'll see how I just don't measure. The box I'm going to be using is actually one that's used for hearing aids, and I got a few of these boxes and I've been using them in the classes, showing the girls how to decorate them. And it's a unique little box because it actually has, and you can create this in any of the boxes that you make, a ridge around here. All I've done is insert an extra piece of sponge, which means you can have, this is quite a deep box, so you can have a layer there, which is lots of fun, and I'll show you how that works. I'm going to be using lots of Tim Holtz products, lots of Claudine Helmick, because I love her products as well, and taking you through how I make the box, how I put a little album in it. But there are lots of things you can do with these boxes. A fun thing to do with a box is, of course, obvious, you can make it into a little treasure chest for children. You can make it, fill it full of chocolates, especially with the 2 layers. That's really cute. But there are fun things you can do. You can make recipe cards, and you can insert your spices in the bottom so it gets a yummy smell, so you're getting all your senses going. There are just so many ways that you can use these boxes. You can put soaps and perfume down the bottom, and note cards and day planners on the top. Wonderful. Anyway, get into the box. I don't measure because I am basically lazy. And I always bigger it up anyway. The one thing you've got to be conscious of when you're making a box, or when you're actually covering a box, is that the orientation of your paper. This is actually a piece of one of Donna Salazar's papers for this particular demonstration. It has words on it, so you've got to be conscious when you're doing your box which way those words go to get them up the right way on your box. Other than that, you just go for it. But to do this, I would decide where I was going to have it on my paper, on my box, the paper on my box, sorry. And all I do is I take a pen, pencil doesn't make a difference, and I just draw around it. Nice and simple. If you've got any folds in your box, you've got to be conscious that the paper has to be given a memory, so you're going to have to score that and wrap it round so you don't tear it when you actually come to glue it down. But that's literally what I do with all my boxes, all the sides, until I have all my pieces. I cut them out with my scissors, and I trim them inside. That you don't have to worry about what you've traced this with, because you can just trim inside it, because you really want on the box for you to have your paper just sitting on the inside edges of it. And you're going to paint all those extra corners on there, extra edges on there, so it doesn't show up. But that'll be clear later on. One thing about boxes, where if you're using them from some other product, to be aware that if they've got a shiny surface on them, you're best to paint them on the edges with a gesso, so that your black or gold or whatever colour that you're going to be using will stick to the edges and not come off. You can see where I haven't done that on this, and it's worn a bit, and I should have done it. So I'll just go over it again. So there, that's all you do. You cover your edges and you're ready to go. Now this is a box that I'm starting to create. Now I'm using Graphic 45 papers on these. Both the, you know me, I can't do one thing at a time, so I'm doing 2 boxes at the same time. This is your Graphic 45 Christmas Emporium, which is absolutely beautiful paper. And I'm also doing a box out of, it's Graphic 45 ABC Primer. And I'll sort of kind of be doing them and doing them in sections through, but I want to show you some of the constructions before I put the pieces on. You can see what I was talking about here, where I've left that little gap around the edge when I've put my paper down. This is the middle piece that I've created. You can create this quite easy, like I said, by just creating a rim on that bottom edge, cutting out a piece of card, covering it. In this case, I have just put one of the images from that Emporium paper and coloured it and put it on there. And I've also put one on this side with one of the little chipboard pieces out of that pack, and did a little bit of stickles, glossy accents, nothing too fancy there. Because this is going to be a base and things are going to be put on it, you don't want it to be too dimensional. But I can't resist putting a little bit of dimension in there. You can see where, again, on this particular paper, I find the aged mahogany, Tim Holtz distressed aged mahogany ink really inks up those edges nicely. And on the other box, I've used tea dye because it goes beautifully with that ABC Primer paper. And an interesting thing I find, I'm always having trouble when it comes to creating that really white effect that you need for snow. And I've found that Ranger's enamel accents in the white actually works very well with a little bit of glitter on it, because you get that true white reflect. So that's what I've done there, and just titivated it a bit so that when it sits in this box, you've got a nice little picture there. But there will actually be an album in this box, and you'll see all those bits either in this video or the next one. The tops, I've created things for the tops of the boxes. And I'm going to be dimensionalizing the top and putting images on the side. Some of them I'm going to be using stamping. Some of them I'm just using images from out of the actual papers. I'm also going to be using Tim Holtz new dye, the Tattered Pine Cones. I love that dye. I absolutely love it. I think it's so cute. And a lot, I didn't decorate this because I wanted to show you how many options you have. There's just so many out there that you can put on this. You have got your foundation box feet, which is they're probably the ones that are going to end up on this particular box. I mean, how gorgeous do they look on there? And I'm actually going to put on there one of his curio knobs. This is one of them out of it, and this is actually from one of his trinket. I can't remember which one. I think the one with the pearls in it. And that is actually going to go on the front of the box there. I've got images to go around it. Actually, I could show you a few of those. Over here, I've got Dusty Attic chippies. Now these Dusty Attic, I call them chippies, but they're laser cut. And I have coloured them with another one of my favourite products, which is Lindy's Stamp Gangs. These are embossing powders. They've got that two-tone beautiful gold effect. I don't know whether it comes out very well on video, but this is going to be placed on the front here. To take it back a step, because I probably jumped ahead, you can use anything to attach your papers. I have my preferences. Not quite anything. You need a really good quality one, because people are going to handle this, because you need to stick this to the box, but you also need it to have a coating on it to protect it from people's hands. I like to use a matte. I'm just into using matte at the moment, so it's Claudine Helmuth Matte Medium. But you can use, this is another product I like, it's actually the Beacon Fast Finish Decoupage. It's kind of a liquid and it gets in there really quick. That's a gloss, but that's not the gloss effect I want at the moment. You can use the gloss in Claudine's multi-medium all her products, but you could use your Mod Podge, whatever cranks your handle, as I say. These are just the things that I really like to use. And hers is a particular favourite of mine. I really like the way it'll stick anything. So that goes underneath and on top, and it gives you it sticks beautifully. If anything comes up, we haven't got you need to put a little bit more, just insert a little bit more, and it'll be beautiful. And that's how I'm going to apply these. I'm going to apply these to the box with those, with the Claudine Helmuth matte medium as well. So I'm going to have those there. I'm going to have little knobs here. I'm going to have the box feet on there. And on the top, for this particular box, I have cut out of the paper. Now I have some pet peeves, I think I'd call them, probably about doing fussy cutting. I don't get fussy cutting. I don't know about fussy cutting. I get my Tim Holtz scissors and I cut the image out, and I like to cut close. The pet peeve is I don't like you go to all this trouble to make a box and you don't make it really strong, because if you just put down, even if this was lined with card, it would not be strong enough. It will eventually rip, and if children handle it, they won't. You'll be thinking, oh, it's going to break, and it probably will. I love, what I do is I put my images down on grunge paper. I don't use the board because I prefer the paper. You can if you like that really stiff, really strong look, but I kind of like the flexibility of this, but it gives all the strength. So you can see that on the back of here, I have got grunge paper. And I have done that. I haven't done that for this image, which is probably going to end up right there. I have put some glossy accents on there, on his hat and on his shoes, because I'm actually going to dimensionalize these by putting these ones that need to be stronger on pop dots and standing them up a bit to get that dimensionalized look. And again, on there, I've used my glossy accents on the little letter there, and on his hand and on the little boy's feet, and that will give that really nice dimensionalized look. I'm going to have the chippies again done with the Lindy Stamp Gang embossing powders, probably in one of the corners like so, or like so, whatever I decide in the end. I have a watch face here, and I've used Tim Holtz spinners and some little watch parts on there. I'm going to have that pointing to the 12 o'clock mark. And I have got another one of his embellishments. Where is that? Here we go. This is from out of his Christmas adornment pack, Tim Holtz Christmas adornments. Now, it wasn't quite the right colour because I wanted it to have more of an old gold look. So all I have done is taken it and I have put some gold alcohol ink over the top and some black, and then sanded it back so you don't lose all those details, because this Christmas adornment pack is gorgeous. I don't even know whether you can pick up the details in there, but it is really, really, really gorgeous. I'll bring you in a bit closer, see if we can get some of that. It has a lot of detail in the actual reindeer here, and the star, or the snowflake, and all the others, all very detailed. They're lovely. So that'll go on there, and then we'll have our tattered pine cone. This is so gorgeous. Again, with this one, I have actually lined it with the grunge paper, and I actually liked the grunge paper side better. Remember, when you're cutting out these dies, the way you put your paper affects how these look. If you put your paper down, it'll round it nicely. But you'll see how I hope you can pick this up, one side is quite sharp looking, and that's because the die has cut it up that way, and one side is quite rounded. Well, I quite like the rounded side, and I put my paper up the wrong way, so I'm going to use the grunge paper side. And I just coloured it up with my distressed pine needles, and I sprayed some Lindy Stamp Gang sprays over the top to give it a bit of glitz. I don't know whether you can pick that up or not. Give it a bit of colour. And I will arrange these somehow on there. I haven't decided, cut them apart, do what I want, with the little pine cones. Now, I actually made 3 little pine cones, but I kind of like what I was doing with 2, and I'll just pop a bow in there, and that will go onto my box. Also into this box is going to go a small album. Have I got it here? I might show you that a bit later. Oh, here it is. Here. It's a simple concept album, which it was shown by a friend. You've probably seen it a million times on YouTube, but it creates a little These are just bits that I'm going to use somewhere within it. I haven't finished this album at all, I've just lined it. And it goes like so, and then it turns, and it goes like so, and it turns. And you end up with 12 usable pages on there to put either photo mat. And in here, in the ends here, you end up with a place to put your tickets. And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those, so that's cool. So you can do journaling in those and mats on those, or embellish them to your heart's content from out of your graphic 45 papers and your graphic 45 chippies or die cuts. And it's gorgeous. They turn out sweet and they fit beautifully in these boxes. So that's one box that I'm going to be completing. The other one, excuse me, is going to be a the ABC Primer one, and same deal. I've decorated the top here, and I've made this little insert, and I haven't done anything to other than glossy accent areas on the images that we get out of that beautiful paper. Tea dye around the edges, distress ink around the edges. I haven't even done the bottoms yet. In fact, you don't even need to if you don't want to, because they look great. On this one, I have used the hitch fasteners, Tim Holtz hitch fasteners, to make the handle here. And this is from his Adornment Pack 1, I think it's called, where he's got birds and all sorts of bits and pieces. And I thought it made a cute handle for this little box. And I've used the hitch fasteners on the actual bottom as the feet on this particular one. For this one, I have got some bits over here that I've created. You can see, just to show you, this is lifting a bit. I will, because I have not coated this with its second coat yet, I have just put the paper down, and I'll need to trim that and put a little of Claudine's matte medium down there and go over the whole box so we don't get it all messy. For this one, I have stamped images. These images come from the one of the Crafty Secrets stamp sets called Bird Lovers, I think it's called. And I've used, you can't recognise it from this, but I've used this one down here. Stamped it with my Ranger archival ink. Coloured it with my Distress using my Koi water brush. Just coloured it in. Glossy accented it to give it dimension on just the flowers. And then there'll be a segment in here which will show me colouring these, or colouring the background. And then I've just coloured the bottom, come over the top with the distress inks. You can see me doing techniques similar on the ticket strip video that I put out, or the tickets video that I put out. But this way, you can actually, you're not stamping on the tickets, you're stamping on manila cardstock, because it'll take all those wet mediums. And then cutting out the images. It makes fabulous borders for all your 12 by 12 layouts too, and I often do that as well. And these are going to be placed on this box. Now, don't worry, you can see where on here I haven't gone to the edges. That is because it's another thing I'm going to be doing on this particular one is I am going to be using the 7 Gypsies metal page edges So they're going to come down and cover, and it's great if you're short of a bit of paper, which I was, because I cut, with my not measuring, I just plonked it down and cut it out. So I decided to use these on the edge. And this particular box is going to have these going right around the base, and also along this top rim here. And again, I have cut images out of the Graphic 45 Primer papers. What I've done here is I really like this image from those papers. I've crackled this area here using Tim's crackle medium, and I've glossy accented some of these areas here because I want to be able to get this to stand up. The image in this particular paper also doesn't come out particularly clear because it has a little girl's head in there. But that's not going to worry me because I think somewhere here I've got a little cat, and I will insert and arrange this so it looks like the little boy is on the bottom of the seesaw and the cat's going to cover the head, and I'll probably put another image on there using this image. And again, this is one I have dimensionalized because I want this one to be my base, which I'll insert underneath the flowers so you've got that 3D look. And this one, which I've glossy accented, I'll have coming out. And that'll be pop dotted up, and she's got a little pipe there. Well, it would help if I put it on the screen, wouldn't it? She's got a little bubble pipe there, and I'll probably put glossy accent dots up there. I'm probably going to put some sort of word in the middle there, and you know, fun, lots of fun to make something like this. I'll create that same effect around the edges. This is so simple. You can all do this so simply. I haven't decided what to put on the front yet or how, but I have got images. I might leave that plain because it's got quite enough on it, and do something like around the sides, make these other little images sit so that they look like they're sitting in the flowers. Lots of fun. It's great to create these little, it creates a whole feeling of that era, and it just makes me feel good to make them. And on the back here, this is the perfect image for the back. I'll probably cover his chair, and I'll probably give him a pussycat too because that's how he comes on the paper. You can see here I've used little tiny watch parts in there, just little details, and you'll have these things, and we'll put the cat in there somehow. I'm not sure how out, but we'll put him in there, and being the back of the box, it's appropriate that he's turned the other way. So those are all the things that I'm doing with this particular one, and you'll see me stick them down. I'll take you through a section where I'm actually putting them on, but I did want to show you these before I started doing that particular exercise. What else can I show you here? We have over here that album. I'm actually creating a little mini album after the style of Kathy Orta's album, the bigger album. I think it was, I can't remember, I think it was the Lost and Found album she did. Only I don't know whether I'll create the flap on the back, I haven't made up my mind, but it's the album where you have pockets everywhere, pockets in the end, and a flap at the back, and lots of pages to fill up with tags and photos. That fits beautifully in the box. Okay, I'm going to start finishing off this Graphic 45 Primer box. I've decided to use this word on there, so I'm just going to use the Lindy Stamp Gang embossing powder in the Midnight Gold to make the words on there, because the colours tone in. I'm actually using it on my Christmas box, and I think that'll be just fine in there. These page edges are fabulous. I think that I don't know that they stock them anymore, which is such a shame, because I also cut the corners and use them on my tags. I use them for so many things, but they're quite an older embellishment. So this one's nearly finished. Just a few tidying up bits to do. There's all sorts of things you can actually do on these, not just what I've done here. They look beautiful with ribbon tied around the middle, and there's just so many different things you can do. You can put felt on the bottoms. I'll just touch up this area with paint. There's a couple of little sharp edges here that have to be I have to get rid of, but they do look nice with felt on the bottom. It gives them a nice polished finished look. You can even get quite carried away. This is a different colour, but you can continue the whole look and put instead of doing this type of finish here, you can put the metal page edges on the bottom too, which is, it's kind of a cool look. But I want to finish just like this for this one. So that's that one. We'll be on to the next one. Here is the completed Graphic 45 Christmas Emporium box. I put it together now. I decided not to put the pine cones on this particular one. It's gone together beautifully, I think. You can see the clock on the top here with the hands. I've got metal leaf underneath there. I've used the Tim Holtz tattered pine cone leaves underneath, and the Lindy's Stamp Gang embossing powder on these dusty attic tips. So that's the box. It's just plain around the back. I've kept decoration on top because inside I've at the moment got it filled with a lot of the tags that I did for the Tim Holtz 12 tags of Christmas, which turned out was lots of fun to do, and I think they turned out great using all different methods. So at the moment, this is what I have on this level. And then this is that piece that goes in, so it's quite a deep box, so you've got 2 layers and double-sided, and then underneath I've made a little mini album, and it has pockets and places to put tags, and that's a lot of fun album to make. I think I've got a snippet in here in this video showing you how to put this together quickly, how to make this particular little album. If you don't already know, because it's such a simple process, you have your envelope and you stick down that tastes yummy knot. Stick down the envelope so it's closed. You take your envelopes and you fold them in half and you crease it down well. Probably pays to do it properly and do it with a bone folder, but mine's not handy at the moment. It doesn't matter, you choose what size envelopes you want, for what size tags you want. This particular size, it's probably irrelevant, you know how I love to measure, but it does fit these big number 8 manila tags from Ranger. I usually cut them off if I'm doing it for this book, because then I can fit them right down there so just the top comes out. So there we have our envelopes, and what I do is I make a W with them, or 2 peaks if you like, and you take your other envelope and you pop it over the top. You take your tiny attacher, which is the one I prefer to use. It's a Tim Holtz product because it is a little stapler with little staples, but it's incredibly strong. Fabulous for doing stitching, metal stitching on different projects too. And all you do, you can see there, all you do is on this particular edge, you've created that, your peaks, or if you're up the other way, the W, and all you're going to do is push those right in, and you're just going to staple down that edge there. And you can see this one, I have stapled down that edge, and it creates this whole book that gives you all those pages. And you just cover it. You paint the edges, use your distress on the edges. I've used the range of paint dabbers on the edge of this one in the gold. And you also, the other thing you do is you chop off the top to create these pockets in here. There's only one other thing that you need to do, and that is when you open this up, this is your envelope here, and it'll be open at the top. So I always run a bit of wet glue down the middle here. I like to use the Scotch Quick Dry Adhesive. It's good. Your glossy accents will do it too. But why waste it when you're going to use it on your papers? Fabulous glue though that it is. So you just run it down in the areas where the envelope is open, and then you'll have each separate compartment. Now you don't want to try and put sticky tape in there or anything like that, because it'll just end up making your tag stick when you try and put it in it, pull it in and out. So you really want to wet glue that down. These are all just put on. You can see I haven't even got the glue marks off with my 80 G gun. I've got the red one, you might have the pink one, and I just love this thing. It means putting these together so quickly. And yeah, the one thing I did have to measure is when you put your papers on this, you do have to work out what size they are. But again, it's usually, I usually cut them all to one size and then cut down the ones that need to be a bit smaller. But because on this edge, because you have stapled, these pieces of paper need to be slightly smaller. And watch your orientation again. You don't want your papers to be upside down if you're choosing. And you just put little bits and pieces in there so that you can put photos on the back and journaling on them. And all these tops, I've got tags so that I can put photos on the back and do a little bit of journaling. And the book goes like so. And you turn it over. You can also do the same there. And you open it up again. And I have this section in here with this pocket so that I can do some more journaling. It goes over again. It gives you 12 pages in there, so that's a lot of fun for that one. And all those will fit back in there. And the next one is the ABC Primer one. I changed a few things on it. Little decorations on here. I put this little girl, she's from a Crafty Secrets stamp set. I just put her on just about everything. I love her so much. These are the I Am Roses butterflies that they sell. And I've been through all the different bits that are on here with you. I've dimensionalised these side pieces so the little doll's legs actually sit up. And remember, I've done them all with the grunge paper, so they're incredibly strong. Around the back here, I've just put a little bit of, I put an ABC on here in metal, which just thought was a bit of fun. That's the box. And inside here, there is an album that fits the box perfectly. I've styled it after Kathy Orter's Lost and Found album, because that's a style that I really enjoy. And used Dusty Attic Chippies on the side, and used all the papers from that ABC Primer. I do like to add in papers. I've said this before. I like to add in papers from from my stash, because it's always good to have a few extras in there. And just put a few bits and pieces around, make it look pretty. Made this stand up dimensionally, leather bound there. And then you then you open it up and you go through the book. And I've actually put paper dolls in here. There is this Crafty Secrets journal notes has lots of cutouts so you can do paper dolls and put them in your albums, and I thought that might be fun. I used to love doing that when I was a little girl. So these are all the dolls, and in here there's a whole lot of different outfits and hats that go on all these pretty ones, toy ones that go on all of the paper dolls. Just for a little bit of fun. And typical of that album, it's got lots of pockets, so you can actually put all sorts in these. Here you can see on each facing page I've actually got one of the cutouts here, and I put ribbon on there just to remind you that you can colour up all your ribbons. I often get the white ribbon just in the style that I like, and I like Tim Holtz ones as well in the white, so I can change them up. The stains change them up really well. The stains like these, you get really cool colours, and you can match them up with the different inks that you've used to ink your pages through your albums. I also like to use the sprays. My favourite sprays are the Lindy's and the Range of Perfect Pearls and the Tattered Angels. I use them all. A lot of people get a bit one-eyed about their sprays, but they've all got beautiful things about them that I enjoy. So the album goes like this. I've all used again all through here of paper, so you can cut these out and make little things for playing maths games, and you've still got all your little places to put tags and photos, and remember you've still got all these end pockets to put all tags and photos in if you want to dimensionalize these up. It just goes through. I'll just go through quickly for you. They're really fun papers, and you just put anything you like in these. Fun bits and pieces in there. And the ruler images, and the book belongs to images. They're all gorgeous. And in this particular one I've got, I've kept these. You can use them for photo mats, but I think they'd be fun for a little one to colour, and rather than do it myself, and put a little pocket in here so that they're all fit in, because there's quite a few in there. And put an image on the back too. Usually I make them plain, but this time I wanted to put images on both. And that fits perfectly into the box. And on the bottom here, I've actually got one of Tim Holtz Matchbox notebooks, because it's got student's notebook on it, because it's fun to have a place to write. I've made another little mini album here. This has been left so a picture can be inserted there, but it works the same way as that Christmas one did, where it opens up like so. This one I haven't put the pockets on the end, like so. This one's got a little pocket in this one, and it's just a little album. More tags to go in there, and places. It's nice to have things for photo mats and journaling. And these are images again that I've taken out of some of my Crafty Secrets journal notes pads, just so that you can have a little space to journal and a nice place to place a photo. So those are the boxes, and they're really fun to make. Remember to do this here, because this is great. Like, so you've got a second level on the deep box. The important thing, I think, with making a lot of these boxes is to make them really, really strong. That's one of my pet things. I want children to be able to play with them. I want them coated. So I want to be able to put, they've got to be used the Claudine Helmets matte mediums or gloss mediums on them, or your glue and seal. And you can do it. This is a gloss one here, you'll be able to see the sheen on it, and this one is a matte underneath with glossy accents on top. I hope you've enjoyed seeing those. and a little bit about how I made them. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you very much.